Hi, everybody. So I'm going to go through a little bit of a stretching routine. It's a short and condensed version that could be used for post-workout or even just as a standalone thing, and that's totally fine. We are going to be doing some standing with our stretching today, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a standing option and a seated option for each of these. You're going to note that when I do the seated option that I'm not using a chair. If you need the chair for assistance, that is totally fine, and I will show you that option as well. The first thing we're going to have today is called a standing straddle. Now, just so you know, I do have a yoga mat underneath me. If you have your carpeting at home, that will probably be just fine. If you have some type of other yoga mat, I would definitely recommend it, though. What's going to happen is that I'm going to stand in a nice wide stance. Now, the goal for this is for my legs to stay nice and straight, my back to stay flat. You may find that just by standing and placing your hands on your knees is enough stretch. Areas you're going to feel this inside of the thighs and in the backs of the legs. You might even find that while keeping your back flat, you're able to bring your hands down to the ground. That would be just fine as long as the knees do not bend. We want the knees to stay straight the whole time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get us starting into a breathing pattern. Let's start by breathing in through our nose and out through the mouth. Each breath, try to search for musculature to try to shut off, to let yourself go into a deeper stretch. We're going to spend about another minute stretching, but if this standing option is not in the cards for you, that's okay. You can also do this seated from your butt. Your legs will be out to the side. They'll still be straight. You'll be sitting up nice and tall, but then you'll be leaning and taking your hands toward the center of your feet. Okay? Make sure that chest stays tall. And we're going to spend about another minute in whatever solution works the best for you. Let's go back to our breathing, though, and let's go into the nose and out through the mouth. Into the nose and out through the mouth. Now, let's say if neither of those options are a good fit for you. You can also do this from a chair. Which would look just like this. I'm seated right towards the edge of the chair. My legs are wide. And then the same thing, I'm going to try to reach toward the ground if I can. But be careful. You're going to want to put some pressure on your hands so that you don't fall out of the chair, okay? Again, you'll feel the same areas in the center of the thighs, and on the inside of the thighs and on the backs of the legs. With whatever position you're in, let's take about 2 more deep breaths into the nose, out through the mouth. Let's take 1 more in and out. Very good. You can slowly come on out of that stretch. The best way to do this, if you're in a standing straddle position, just kind of walk your feet closer together and then slowly back your hands out of it. That's one of our 2 standing stretches for today. The other one we call a standing forward fold. Your feet are going to be together. Your knees are going to try to be as straight as you can. Your back is going to stay flat. You're going to reach toward your toes. I only want you going as far as you can while your knees stay straight. That might be the position right here at the knees. You may be able to even get towards those toes if you can, but if you feel the knees start bending, that's what we don't want to do, okay? So, the knees stay straight. Let's take some deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. I do want to show you the seated option for this, We call this a seated forward fold, in which your knees are straight, your back is flat, and you're reaching towards your toes. Again, you may be able to get towards your toes, and that's great. If not, you may be able to even find that just sitting up nice and tall is giving you enough stretch to the backs of those legs, and that's what we want. So let's go back to that breathing again. One more deep breath here. Continue stretching for the next 30 seconds, whatever option works for you. I also want to show you one final option this can be done from, and this is actually from a chair again, in which both legs will be seated right in front of you. You're sitting tall, leaning in. Again, we're going to feel both backs of the legs here, and just like the other stretch, you may just want to hang on to make sure that you're not going to fall out of that chair because you are seated right at that edge, okay? Let's take about 3 more deep breaths. One more good one. And slowly come on out of that. Bring those legs in, shake the legs out a little bit, and there you have it. There's some lower body stretching for the day today. Nice job.